Now I'm going to show you how to go back through the text and prep for your character analysis pages. So you'll notice I'm in my pajama pants to celebrate Virtual Pajama Day today. It is Virtual Spirit Week. Alright, so the first color I've got here is brown. So as I'm scanning the text, I see the first character we're introduced to is Ichabod Crane. I'm going to circle his name in brown, and then every time something describes Ichabod, I'm going to go through and underline it. He lived in Sleepy Hollow. He loved to read about goblins and witches. His mind was usually on lunch. He liked to think about food. And I'm going to keep scanning, and every time there's a new character, I'm going to use a new color. He walked around with a stick in his hand to help along any pupil who seemed lazy. That probably doesn't mean actually help, as it's in quotation marks. He was invited to a party. He's excited about the party. So wonderful, said the schoolmaster, that's Ichabod, with excitement. Let's see, he's talking to his class. He rushed home to get ready for the big night. He took a steaming hot bath, shined his best shoes, carefully brushed his Sunday suit. What does that tell you? He's probably really looking forward to this party. Let's see, he spent half an hour just combing his hair. And he thought about Katrina. All right, we have a new character. I'm going to use purple. So Katrina is circled in purple. Beautiful Katrina was the daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Van Tassel. How lovely she was. She's a daughter. She's lovely. She has big brown eyes, shining curls, and she's rich. If she would marry him, they could sit at her parents' wonderful dinner table every single day. So this tells us Ichabod wants to marry Katrina Van Tassel. See, he's still getting ready. He's calling himself handsome. Now Ichabod is bouncing up the road on the sagging back of old Gunpowder. That tells us he's probably not the best horse. Yeah, he's the gentlest horse. Oh, and there's people describing Ichabod again. People smiled as the pair rode by. Crane is certainly the right name for our good teacher, one man chuckled. He looks just like that bird. They're calling Ichabod Crane a crane, the bird. They're saying he looks like a tall, skinny bird. And I said it was true. Ichabod had a long, skinny neck, long, skinny legs. His feet almost touched the ground as he rode the horse. He had pointed elbows. Even the tail of his coat fluttered behind him, so he really does look like a bird while he's riding on that horse. He hurried inside. He paid little attention to the other guests. He simply couldn't take his eyes off the food, of course. He was the first to reach the heaping bowls and platters. Oh, and there's a rolling thunder sound heard from outside, and they knew it was Brom Bones. I'm going to circle his name in orange. Let's see, Katrina waved shyly at Brom. So what does that tell us about Katrina and Brom? She probably likes him. And Brom led his laughing friends into the house. They were jolly, handsome young men. Brom bowed to Mr. and Mrs. Van Tassel. He wants to put on a good show for them. He wants their respect. And he winked at their pretty blonde daughter. Who is that talking about? Katrina. Then he went inside to shake hands with the guests. Brom was telling a funny story in less than a minute, so that tells us some more about Brom, about a trick he had played. They loved to hear Brom's merry tales, so that tells us Brom told lots of funny stories. One guest, however, didn't care for Brom's tales. Ichabod and Brown. Ichabod only turned up his long nose at the storyteller and yawned. Ichabod does not like Brom. He was sure that Katrina didn't like Brom Bones either. Certainly she had smiled at Brom just to be kind, is what Ichabod's thinking. Let's see. Brom is a joker. But Ichabod is a teacher. He's read 3 books all the way through, and he can sing like a bird. To prove it, he burst into song. So Ichabod sang like a bird. He's not the best singer. Before long, someone began to play a fiddle. Ichabod didn't waste a minute. So Ichabod danced with Katrina in the middle of the floor. His arms waved like flapping fans. He jumped from side to side. Sounds like he's getting a fool of himself. Katrina laughed as she tried to keep up. So she's having a decent time. But Brom Bones wasn't laughing. So that tells us Brom is not happy about what's going on. When the music stopped, Ichabod hurried to join some guests near the fire. They were telling ghost stories. Ichabod loved ghost stories. We remember that from the beginning. They're talking through the stories. Oh, and they're talking about the Headless Horseman. That's a new character that's central to this story. So I'm going to circle that in red. The Headless Horseman, Ichabod asked in a weak voice. What's that? Brom is telling the story about the Headless Horseman. The Headless Horseman is a ghost of a soldier whose head was shot from his shoulders. Even now, the ghost sometimes rides through the night in search of his lost head. Ichabod shook from head to foot. He believed every word, so we know Ichabod is feeling scared. Soon the party was over. Still shaking, Ichabod went to say goodnight to Katrina. However, Katrina turned away from Ichabod, hardly noticing he was there. Ichabod unhappily started his trip home. As he rode through the dark night, a strange feeling came over him. How foolish, he thought. There are no ghosts out here. I know better than to believe in such things. Still unhappy as he was, he couldn't get his mind off the tales he had heard. Suddenly, Ichabod felt a chill up and down his back. He's still feeling scared. He began to shake. He had a strong feeling that he wasn't alone. His heart pounding, he looked to the left and to the right, but saw nothing unusual. Let's keep scanning. We know he's scared. Oh, he sees something big and black standing in the darkness. It's the Headless Horseman. So I'm going to go and underline something big and black because we know that's describing the Headless Horseman. The Headless Horseman is after me. Help somebody. He dug his skinny heels, that's Ichabod, into Gunpowder, the old farm horse. Gave a leap and began to gallop wildly down the road. So Ichabod's scared, he's running, his teeth are chattering. The ghost did have a head, which makes him even scarier in my opinion. But he was carrying his head under his arm. Now the horseman started to swing its head around and around in the air, higher and higher, faster and faster. So this is how the headless horseman is acting. The old horse did his best to pick up speed. Up steep hills and down deep valleys they raced. Sparks flew through the night as gunpowder's hoofs hit the stones. "Help, it's after me," Ichabod howled. So he's feeling very scared. He's being chased. Suddenly, the headless horseman rushed forward. He swung his head high in the air, then let go. Ichabod tried to duck, but the head flew straight toward him. So the headless horseman threw his head at Ichabod. Let's see. Ichabod's still scared. From that night on, Ichabod Crane was never seen in Sleepy Hollow again. Next morning, a very tired gunpowder was found eating grass at his master's front gate. The farmer wondered where Ichabod could be. We don't know where Ichabod is. Wondered where he could be. Many people looked for Ichabod, but he was not to be found. What was found were the tracks of horses' hooves along the road from the Van Tassel farm, and not far from the tracks was a broken pumpkin. One of the men in the search party told Brom Bones about the broken pumpkin. Remember Brom? Brom burst out laughing as if he had just heard the best joke of his life. And for years after, even when he had been married to Katrina, so he married Katrina, for a very long time, Brom would laugh for hours if someone just mentioned the word pumpkin or the name Ichabod Crane. So now, if we look back, we have 4 colors. We used brown for Ichabod, purple for Katrina, orange for Brom, and red for the Headless Horseman. And that sets us up to complete our character analysis page. The Legend of Sleepy Hollow character analysis. So this is Ichabod. Here I would draw a picture of Ichabod based on the descriptions I underlined in brown. Then I would answer these questions based on the story. Now this is Miss Prince. I just walked you through a character analysis page from the Legend of Sleepy Hollow and showed you how to prep the story for that. So if you need anything else, please comment below or reach out to your individual teacher and we can assist you as you complete this packet at home this week. Miss you all. Bye.